So we've just seen how Papias relates the story of Judas. And now understanding, as he says, that he is the third to fourth person in the chain of custody of this information. And yet his story of what happened to Judas is not even close with either account that we have in our Bibles. And then he has just related this ridiculous story of these 2,000 or more pound grapes. 10,000 of these grapes in each cluster. 10,000 little twigs on this vine. I mean, anybody in their right mind wouldn't go near this thing to begin with, let alone try and lay hold of a whole cluster. You probably have difficulty handling one grape, let alone the fact that what if one of these things falls on you while you're trying to get one? Gonna make some grape juice out of you. Well, this is the man that Irenaeus has used. This is the man that Eusebius has used. This is the man that the church uses to testify who wrote the Gospels. And this is what he says in regards to the Gospel of Mark. Mark, having become an interpreter of Peter, wrote down accurately whatsoever he remembered. It was not, however, in exact order that he related the sayings or the deeds of Christ. For he neither heard the Lord nor accompanied him, but afterwards, as I said, he accompanied Peter, who accommodated his instructions to the necessities of his hearers, but with no intention of giving a regular narrative of the Lord's sayings. Wherefore Mark made no respect in thus writing some things as he remembered them. Made no mistake in writing some things. For of one thing, though, he took special care not to omit anything that he heard, and not to put anything fictitious into the statements. So let's go through that again. He is writing from memory what Peter said. He is not writing in exact order. And he wrote down accurately whatever he remembered. And he took special care not to omit anything that he heard. So in other words, they're trying to say here is that he remembered everything that Peter said, because he took special care not to omit everything he heard. Well, if this is true, And now we take a look at the Gospel of Mark, and what do we find? No virgin birth. No appearances after his resurrection to anyone. No ascension into heaven. And what we do read is the fact that when Mary went to the tomb, that the tomb was already rolled away and there was a young man in there stating, Jesus is not here, for he has arisen. And again, that word is agero. It means that he woke up, that he resuscitated. Not that he resurrected from the dead, as Paul has told us. And this is Papias' testimony, that he did not make any mistakes writing that gospel, and that he was careful not to omit anything that he had heard, and not to put anything fictitious into this gospel. He does not say that the other writers did not put anything fictitious into them, but he does say this about Mark. But that's important. He did not omit anything that he had heard. So we can infer from that. Peter never talked about a virgin birth, never talked about the Lord ascending into heaven, and nothing about him appearing to Mary or himself or anyone else. Just that the tomb was empty and there was a young man there giving witness that he had resuscitated. He had woken up and walked away.